Hello, my name is Tyler Peterson. I'm aspiring to become a physical therapist. One of the main reasons why I want to become a physical therapist is because I've always had a desire to help people. I didn't get very good grades in high school, so I joined the Coast Guard. After I got out of high school, I figured it'd be a good way for me to put use, my desire to help people. And at the same time, I could have a career without having to go to school. But it wasn't until I became a medic and my unit sent me to go to Fort Sam Houston for pharmacy tech school that I discovered that I wanted to become a physical therapist. When I was at Fort Sam Houston, it's the base where they do the rehabilitation for the wounded warriors. And once I saw the PTs working with the wounded warriors, I knew right there on the spot that's what I wanted to do. It helped me stay in the medical field, and I'd still be helping people. And so I decided, all right, I'm going to get out of the military, and this is what I'm going to do. It wasn't long after I got out of the military. I started school. I was knocking out my prereqs for grad school. That my life was kind of flipped upside down. My son was born with congenital muscular dystrophy, and like I said, I'd wanted to become a physical therapist. I knew it's what I wanted to do, but knowing that my son's disease is incurable and really the only treatment plans that he can have his whole life is physical therapy. And so I knew, once after he was born, that was God's plan for me, and ever since then I've been motivated to finish my schooling and become a physical therapist. So as a physical therapist, you're a professional. People are looking to you for help. So I think it's important to join a professional organizations. I've chosen two. The first one is the American Physical Therapy Association, or the APTA. And the APTA is actually a requirement for all physical therapists. It's a great site for looking up the latest research studies in the physical therapy world and job searching. And it's also the website that I'll have to use when I start applying to PT programs. So it's a necessity for physical therapists. And then the second professional organization is the Academy of Pediatric Physical Therapy. So like I said, my son has muscular dystrophy. So I want to become a pediatric physical therapist, not only to help him, but just to help other kids with similar diseases. And as a parent of a kid with a pretty scary disease like that, I think I'll not only be able to help the kids, but I think I'll be able to help the children's family transition as well and help them out. So the Academy of Pediatric Physical Therapy is a great site, very similar to the APTA. It helps other pediatric PTs branch out to each other, and it's a good place to look up the most recent studies, treatment plans that are being conducted, or possible cures for some of these neuromuscular diseases. And it's a good resource for families who have a kid with disabilities. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to sign up for either of these organizations. They both require you to become a physical therapist first. So signing up for these would definitely be priority number one for me once I get my certification. So fortunately, jobs for PTs is on the up. Employment of physical therapists is projected to grow up to 34% from 2014 to 2024. So once I get out of school, I've been told by many physical therapists that you'll be hired almost immediately, and you can go wherever you want. Another bonus on top of job security is that it starts at around $85,000 a year. I did some research. It kind of just depends where you go. I want to stay mostly on the West Coast, either in California and Washington. And from the research that I've conducted, average pay is probably about 85 to 90,000 a year. So, not only am I going to feel rewarded every day going home, knowing that I help people, but I'm going to be making a pretty decent amount of money while I do it. So that's pretty comforting. So becoming a physical therapist isn't easy, which I'm discovering ever since I got out of the military. You have to obtain a bachelor's degree, and then there's also a set of prereqs that you have to do, which include like all of the biologies, the physics, the chemistry, anatomy and physiology. All of those are labs, of course. There's also psychology, and a statistics course is also required. So after you do all that, you get accepted to a DPT program, Doctorates of Physical Therapy. After you complete the 3 years of that, then you have to take a state licensure examination. So you have to hold a certification for PT. There's two programs that I've looked up. One is USC. I like to stay local because all of my son's specialists, like his neurologist and his pediatrician and his cardiologist, are all down here in Southern California. So if I could stay local, that'd be great. I chose USC because they're the #2 program in the country for physical therapy, and also the big one of the things that I liked about them is that their DPT certification pass-fail rate is 100% for passing. So that's good to know, because after I get out of school, I don't want to spend a couple months, retaking an exam. As soon as I get out of school, I want to take this exam. I want to get to work, and I just want to start helping people right away. Fortunately, these programs are very competitive. Most of them require at least a cumulative of 3.4 GPA. Some of them 3.7. It just depends where you go. And you also need some observation hours underneath the physical therapist that can range from 20 hours. USC is looking at 150 hours. And you also need to take the GRE. One downside for PT programs is that it is very expensive. Like, as you can see, you go to USC and you're looking around $65,000 a year just while you're there for the 3 years. So, fortunately, I have the GI Bill, so I won't have to worry about that. But I can certainly see why people are limited for the programs that they apply to. Another program I looked at is UNLV, which is University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I figured I'd look up 1 or 2 out-of-state programs. And with Las Vegas being so close to Southern California, it'd be a pretty easy commute to my son's specialist. Very similar to USC. Almost all DPT programs have like a universal prereq set. So, same thing. Very, very similar, just a little less expensive at UNLV. So I've also looked at getting a strength and conditioning certification. I feel like it'll help me stand out on an exam. And it's just more knowledge I can get before I go to grad school. There's several courses that CBU offers that I think will help me out. The big one for me is Kinesiology 363, Movement Experiences for Children. Not only will that help me as a pediatric physical therapist, but it'll help me now, just with my son. So it's definitely something. It's definitely a course that I'm going to look into taking in the near future. So in order to be a good kinesiologist, there's certain aspects of psychology that I think you have to have. And I think you have to have a desire to help people. If you're just doing this job for the money, I don't think you'll last very long. You have to have that desire to want to help people and to put in some overtime or put in the extra time to make sure your patients are getting the best care possible. Because if not, you're going to burn out quick, and you're just honestly wasting your time and wasting your patient's time. So I feel that, that's not going to be a problem for me once I'm out. I do have that desire to help people, and it's definitely something I want to do. Speaking on that, I was able to do an interview with a physical therapist a couple weeks ago. Not only is she a PT, but she's also one of my coworkers. I work as a physical therapist aide at the local hospital, and she was she was able to do the mock interview with me, and during that interview, she just helped me assure myself that I was going into the right field. She had very similar outlooks as myself. She got into PT because she wanted to help people. She warned me that it's very competitive, and never take any days off in schooling. but it's really rewarding. You know, she goes home every day and she loves it. You know, not only is it good pay, but she's happy when she leaves work. She knows she put in a long day, you know, 10, 11 hours. She's gone from her family, but she knows she's making a difference and she's helping people. And it just sounds perfect for me. It's exactly what I want to do. And not only am I going to be able to help my patients as a physical therapist, but I'm going to be able to help my son as well. So definitely very reassuring. I was able to make a cover letter as well as a resume. I put the cover letter, you know, I wrote it to the University of Southern California since it's my top choice. So, you know, I just wrote about how I'd make a valuable asset for their program, and I think I'd be a great student and a perfect fit just because of my desire to help people, where I'm coming at with my military medical background, and, you know, I also have a son with muscular dystrophy, so I believe I'd be able to help them, you know, make their program great. Like I said, you know, I'm trying to stand out on my application, so I definitely put on there that I'm a physical therapist aide. I've gotten several hundred hours of experience already. That's going to really help me stand out on my application. I have a cumulative GPA of about 3.9 so far. All my prereqs for the PT program, I have a 4.0. So I'm definitely on the right track, but I don't want to let up on the gas. You know, I want to keep going until I get those acceptance letters. Like I said before, I want to become a strength and conditioning coach, just because I feel like that could really help me stand out on an application as well. I was a medic when I was in the military, so I feel like just that background of being able to help people definitely will help me stand out on an application. But, you know, I know there's so much more I can do to stand out, and I need to take every step I can to make sure that that I'm going to be one of the top choices. And last but not least is my faith integration as a physical therapist, or as an aspiring physical therapist. Like I had said, you know, I wanted to become a physical therapist, and it wasn't until my son was born that I knew that was God's plan for me. You know, I have this desire to help people. I'm not saying that to brag or anything. It's just something I like to do. I've always wanted to help people. It's one of the main reasons why I joined the Coast Guard. It's the main reason I want to become a physical therapist, you know, but with my son having this incurable disease, he's going to need physical therapy his whole life. And I know God's got a plan for me, and God's got a plan for my son. And I feel like I'm supposed to become a physical therapist. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day.